The Deputy Coroner has found the nurse who turned away a gravely ill teenager from a country hospital deprived the boy of proper medical care. Andrew Allan was incorrectly diagnosed with gastro and died at home from a fatal respiratory infection just hours after he left the Northam Hospital in September 2010. His mother, Kylie Allan, spoke to 7:30 WA about her family's heartbreaking search for answers. Mrs. Allan, thank you for your time. Nothing can bring back your son Andrew, but have you drawn any comfort from the coroner's findings today?
Yes, actually, it's given me some answers, and they were answers that I actually expected to get, and it's meant that I can sit back now and think about what Andrew was like and remember him as he was, and remember all the good stuff, not just all the horrible stuff that's happened since.
What are the most important answers you got today?
That I'm not a neurotic mother, that I was doing the right thing in a lot of ways to myself. Maybe I shouldn't have believed what I was told, and I'll probably never ever forgive myself for that, but at least I tried. And what really actually upsets me is the fact that if I'd known how sick he was, I could have been with him instead of just leaving him by himself. I could have actually spent more time with him and talking to him, because him and I spent so much time together.
You did everything you could though. You called doctors at 2 separate clinics, tried to get him in during the day.
I even spoke to the York Hospital and they said I could bring him in there, but then when we realised that Emily had to go to work, I thought, well, Northam is the regional hospital, we're better off going to the better hospital with better facilities. It's where you're meant to go.
The coroner said that it's impossible to know whether Andrew would have survived even if he'd been admitted and treated at Northam Hospital as soon as he presented that afternoon. How did you react to that?
That's what I'd felt anyway. I have seen on TV shows where people have survived exactly what he had, usually the medical reality shows and stuff, but at least I would have been with him. My sister died of complications from that sort of stuff a couple of years ago, and we were all with her at the hospital. We were sitting there while they were running around doing all the things that the doctors and nurses do. So we know that everything was done, and she had every chance, and it really draws a line under it that, that's the end.
Because that's what the coroner also said, that because Andrew was deprived proper medical assessment, proper medical care, you don't have the comfort of knowing that everything that could have been done was actually done.
Yes, that's one of the hardest things to deal with, is that some other person made that decision that he wasn't going to get that help.
If you can go back to that afternoon in September, what should have happened that day?
I should have taken him straight to Perth. I should have not listened to what happened. I shouldn't have listened to somebody that obviously didn't care. And perhaps, he would have got help that he needed.
What should they have done that afternoon at Northam Hospital?
They should have called a doctor. He should have just got somebody to come and look at him. He should have checked his pulse. He should have when he took his temperature, and I have animals, and when you feel them, you feel their temperature and they're hot. You don't have a number. You just know that something's not right, and that's how I've always been, is on my own instincts. So if he'd had his temperature taken properly, and if he'd listened to his chest, that's all he would have had to have done, or even just looked at him properly. That would have been all it would have taken for him to realise that he was really sick.
Have you been able to make sense why Nurse Swoboda didn't do any of those things?
No, and he couldn't during the inquest either. His answer was, I don't know why I didn't do it.
Do you find that difficult to believe?
I think people do things for various reasons, and just not thinking at the time is one of them. But if you're dealing with people's lives, then you need to be thinking, or have another job.
The coroner said that the nurse was overconfident, that his evidence was unreliable. What are your thoughts and feelings about him now?
He was very intimidating at the time, and he was quite dismissive of me, and I think he would probably never make the same mistake again. He's had the wind totally taken out of his sails, and this is the sad thing, is it's not just affected myself, my husband and my children, but has also ruined his life. And he will never, ever get over it either.
What happens to you and your family now, Mrs. Allan, now that the findings have been handed down, now that you've got at least some of the answers that you were looking for? What happens to you and your family?
We keep working. We keep raising our other 2 children as best we can and try and help them as much as we can get through this, because this is going to affect them for a long, long time. Our daughter was in another country hospital this week after she came off a horse at her boarding school, and I couldn't have wished for better treatment. But she was scared, and she said to them straight out, the last time one of our family went to the hospital, they died. And she was shaking, she was so scared. So this is, little things are going to come out over the next 10, 15 years that's going to affect them forever. What happens if one day she needs to get medical treatment and she's too scared to go to the hospital? You know, we need to have confidence in our medical system. Everybody does, not just for us, but for other people.
Now that the findings are out and this process has run its course, do you think that you might be able to get some peace with your memories of Andrew?
It already started. I spent a lot of last weekend just thinking about him. I finally put his pictures back up on the wall, which I haven't been able to do until now. Even just listening to the music we played for him, that's been really hard. So now we can start moving on and just spending time thinking.
Mrs. Allan, thank you very much for talking with us on a very difficult day.
Okay, thank you.